YouTube, it's me, Jen, your Pudgy Picker.
And Kim.
And we are here for another podcast, Two Sisters.
One booth.
And this is our podcast number 42.
42.
Yep. So, yeah. Can you believe we've been doing it this long? This is crazy.
I know. It's like my age. I don't feel this old either.
I will say, I'm older than 42 and you're older than me, so.
And we won't tell what number you're coming up on, huh?
The big
big
number.
number.
Yep, 6 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll put my my P.O. box and you can send checks. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. So, today we are talking about organizing and storing your inventory at home.
Yep.
So, this can be a very difficult subject. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't really have a lot of room. Mm-hmm. Some people live in places where having a basement is not really a thing, depending on, like if
some
you're
places they don't have
Florida and stuff, places where you got a high water table.
Mm-hmm.
The house that I'm in and the house that Kim's in, we both have basements, so that helps. We also have an attic that's refinished, so we have a lot of cubby space, but I don't really use that for my inventory. So basement.
You have more storage in that house.
Oh my gosh.
If you put all that storage together, it'd be another little house.
That would be great.
It's awesome.
And I
love
could
that
keep
house.
it all in one spot.
I could live there very easily. I love that house.
Well, we got a cubby. You could just
make a little house in there.
Just got a little
my
door
only
on
problem,
the front.
My knees are getting so bad, I'd have a hard time getting in and out of it. But
So talking about when you start talking about having room to store things, that's nice. But organizing it is another matter altogether. Mm-hmm. Because if you, like me, over the summer when I garage sale, I get a lot of inventory. And I like that inventory to last me mostly until the next garage sale season comes along, as well as, what I normally do, thrifting on Mondays and such. So I like to have inventory at home that I can pull from. But it's like anything else. If you don't have it organized and you're coming up to a certain season or there's a certain item that would fit, I should bring that out or I should put this here. If you don't have it organized, you don't know where anything is.
You forget what you have.
Yeah. So I know in the summer things can really pile up in my basement. So I have a fold-out table in the center and I kind of just put things in a basket and take them down and just park them. And then next time I'm down there, I'm like, I gotta spend a little time and organize it and get things put away. Because then it gets piling up where if you go down there, you'd probably break your neck if you're not careful. Mm-hmm. And I like to do that. I should be doing that now, especially getting stuff organized so that when garage sale season does roll along, come along, I'm not like, I got all this inventory buildup going on. Mm-hmm. So some of the ways that I organize my inventory, and also you got to think I sell on eBay, so I have half of my basement is items that are already listed. So I have them all packed up and put on one side with an inventory system that I can find stuff, and then the other side tends to be everything for my physical space. And then I have a workbench, which I try and keep clean, but you know how that is. So that if something needs a little bit of elbow grease, or it needs a little glue, or it needs a lot of glue, or painting or something, I have a space to work on it.
That's like my sewing desk. Once I start sewing, I am a messy sewer. And you know when I'm sewing because you find little hunks of thread and material all through the house that sticks to your feet and everything. But yeah.
So, having things organized makes it easier because when I go thrifting, I don't necessarily have a list of things I'm looking for our space. I have certain things that I snap on quicker because I know they sell.
Yeah.
But as far as like a list of items, I really don't.
Well, you can't because you don't know what you're going to find.
So I find that the best idea that I have is I have some really large tubs. I have I have a smaller one. I don't really think we do spring as much anymore.
No.
So I have a smaller one with
Yeah.
spring. I have a big bin that says summer, one that says fall, one that says winter. So as I find things, no matter what time of the year it is, if I am out thrifting right now in January and I find, January, February, and I find fall or summer stuff, I pick it up. If I'm finding it at a good price, I take it home. It goes in that bin. And then when I start getting close to that season, I can pull that out and then go over it, make sure everything's clean, everything has the price off of it, and then I reprice it. So it's in one area. So that really works good. Now, if you don't have a basement and you have a garage that you're able to maybe have some of those shelves you can lower and raise, or maybe put some shelves on the wall to hold some of your inventory, that would be a good way to do it because, just put the stuff in there. When the season rolls around, you pull that bin out and you're ready to go. Yep. My only issue is if I don't find as much as I think that I found, like I'm like, oh, I got tons of winter stuff and snowmen and snowflake stuff.
Pull it out.
I pull it out and I'm like, ooh,
lots of cobwebs.
I didn't have that much winter stuff this year.
I know. I didn't find much myself either.
So between the two of us, we made do with our display in the front, but it was not, someday,
nothing spectacular.
You find an overabundance, and then other times you don't find anything. And it's funny because especially at garage sales, when it's 95 degrees outside, nobody wants to think about a snowman. Nope. Nobody wants to think about fall leaves or coats or any of that stuff. People that's so far from their brain. So you can usually find stuff for a really good price. Yeah. So that is definitely the time to pick it up, bring it in, put it in those boxes, and you're ready to go. Now, recently, I'm starting to do bins that have certain groupings of items so that when we decide that we want to, have our display in the front to be all nautical or sometimes we've done something where it's all white or all white and gold or white and, silver, frames, everything, that I'm going to start making boxes that have those on there so that, when we come up between, a season and we have our display and we're like, okay, what are we going to put up here? I know we have a clearance like half price sale type thing going on, and all of our clearance that we have out right now is half off. So we're gonna let that go until I think it's the first week in April or last week of March that we're having that, and then we're gonna have a restocking day. So that's a time we can go in and really move stuff around. That'll be a time to pull all of our clearance and put out, we're going to have to come up with a theme it's kind of too early for spring, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
So I'm thinking, I don't know, we'll have to do maybe our all white items or something. We did that one year and boy, it just really looked nice. It was very striking to look at everything. The thing is, you want to have enough to put it and make it and then have enough to keep filling it if you're going to do it for like a month or something. Yep. So, yeah. So having your items, not only the season, but have it by theme, nautical, white items, kitchen items, whatever you tend to like. If you do books, if you do linens, any of that stuff. So, maybe start, putting things in boxes that are themed. I think that would be a really good idea. Yeah. And then I have an area where I can have... where I have pictures or larger pictures, enough where if I have a space on my wall, I know I can grab something in that area and, have it put up. The thing is, you want to be able to get your hands on the merchandise of what is needed in your space. Because if you have an empty space on the wall, or you have an area you can put a piece of furniture and it's sold and you don't have anything out there, then it's like, that's space that you're paying for, whether you have something in there to sell or not. Yeah. So I'm always hot to get something back out there. I had a table in the back furniture room that we're allowed to put items in, and it just sold. So I have another item I have to do a little bit more work on, but I'm going to try and bring that out in the next week. So, Yeah. So you want to, have it organized in such a way that you can get your hands on the stuff and it's, you're not losing stuff. If you have a lot of inventory and you keep buying more and it keeps going on top, then you have the problem that I've had, that there's just so much down there. You're starting to have stuff you bought a while ago. And that may not necessarily be something that you want to sell anymore. So when we did our clearance, I was like, you know what? I have things down there that they just need to go. Mm-hmm. So I priced them for clearance. So, because, after you do this a while, if you bought something even a year ago, you're like, I don't think I would have bought that again.
Yep, all the time.
So if you keep getting, if you have things that you're bringing home, try and get them turned around as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very true.
So, I don't know. Is there any other, a lot of people who don't have the storage space. It's hard. It's hard if you don't have the storage space to have, inventory or have, because you don't, like you said, you don't go to the thrift store and you just find stuff that you need to bring out right then. Mm-hmm. You find stuff that's a good price and you're not ready to take it out. Then you're like, I got to put this somewhere.
Well, you have to get inventive and find places to store things that you wouldn't think about. Say maybe you have a table and you have maybe you don't use it every day for dinner and everybody sits there with their legs up under it. But if you have a table and you have a tablecloth on it, you could take and neatly store a box or 2 or 3 under that table. Nobody would ever know they're there, and it would be hidden out of view. Under beds, I know it was a joke one time, but where they had a bed that was the whole bed, footboard, headboard, sideboards, but without the mattresses on it. And it was nothing but plastic bins.
And they just put like a bedspread?
They put a bedspread over it. So when you looked in there, it looked like a nice little room, but you couldn't have slayed on that bed.
That's funny.
So it's you got to get kind of creative and inventive sometimes, especially if you have other people in the house that don't get your addiction to buying things.
Yeah.
And it's taking over the house, so you have to be a little more creative.
See, I'm the kind of person that I like to have, I don't want to be looking at my inventory all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know where my inventory is and I know I have a good place for it. It would drive me nuts because I'm that kind of person to have boxes and boxes of stuff everywhere in the house.
I've seen pictures that are scary.
Oh my goodness. That would drive me bananas. I couldn't live that way. Mm-hmm. And there are people who are that way. There's people who do eBay and are that way. And there's people who have, a physical space and they're that way. And there's a lot of stuff. And especially if you can, put a little bit of furniture, depending on what size booth you have. You don't find that stuff every day. Or you find something and you need an area to work on it.
Yeah, you need a space that you can close a door, pull a drape. And I've seen people where they've had a room that maybe is a double, use room.
Yep.
And take and put shelves up, but then they take and use shower curtains or material and put it across the front and hang a little picture on it so it doesn't look as obtrusive as a shelf full of boxes and junk.
Yeah, because I think it's almost impossible to not have product at home. Mm-hmm. You just can't. Like you said, you're not like, I'm a little bit low on, on nautical items, so I'm just going to go over to the thrift store and I'll pick up some.
Yep.
You don't know what's going to be there.
Yep.
Some days you go in and you're like, holy cow, somebody got rid of their collection of
frogs or boats.
Frogs or owls or boats or something.
Birds.
And that's the time to clean up, is you just don't know when you're going to come across that again. And like I said, especially in the summer, I go to garage sales and they got, they have, fall stuff and winter stuff and they got like a quarter on it, You're out there sweating, it's 95. Nobody wants to think about,
leaves
a
falling.
Snowman. Yeah. You're like, what? No.
Yeah.
So that's the time to pick up stuff really cheap. And it seems like thrift stores used to kind of have everything all the time. And even they're holding back stuff.
Yeah. They know they can get a better price for it later too.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is at like some of the thrift stores? You can't even find a lot of short sleeve shirts now. like a couple of the Saver, one Saver in particular, I go in and they have long sleeve, they have button up, they have cardigans, they have regular sweaters. And I'm like, people wear short sleeves like in winter too,
like
you know?
us.
Yeah, who like sweat at the drop of a hat. It's like,
yeah.
I'm having a hot flash. I ain't wearing nothing with a long sleeve on it. That's not happening.
No.
So, yeah, even they're kind of holding back and hanging on to stuff and then putting it out when it's appropriate. I mean, like now you find a lot of, you know, Christmas and fall or winter stuff because they had it out. Now they're trying to, you know, get rid of it. And then they'll start putting out more, I guess, summery stuff. So seasonal, like decor items, I think they're holding back. I mean, if it's signs and other things, they just kind of put it out when they put it out. So, yeah. And I like to have, if I find a real cute lampshade or I find a cute lamp that doesn't have a shade, it's one of those that, you know, I kind of have lampshades. If you ever need a lampshade, let me know. I have the lampshades, and then I have lamps, so I'll, you know, match a few of those together and bring some out. So, you know, it's nice to have an area where you can keep that stuff.
It's nice you can shop it when you need it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I just asked my sister, you have a little shelving or a little table? That, yep, I got one. I got a couple. Here, I'll send you a picture. You let me know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, you know, having space is very important. I know there's some people that have said, you know, my garage is full. We haven't parked in our garage in a while. And it's hard to not have enough space.
I don't want to talk about garages. It's like every time I go to work on that one, something comes up and it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
It's going to get done.
It's like,
you're going to see.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, you're going to go by my house and find all my inventory out on the street because I'm about tired of it.
I'm finished.
That's it. Get it out of here.
Well, you know, it's funny because I like to garage sale and I like to thrift. And I don't think that even if I think, you know, I have a lot of stuff, I still got to go. Because there's deals out there to be had, especially garage sailing in an area like Cleveland. I mean, you have a season and that's it. Yep. So you kind of have to go when you go.
Make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah. So that I can understand. You get a buildup of inventory. Technically, if I had too much inventory, I could lay off of thrifting. But people would start to riot in the streets if I didn't have a video up on Monday.
And we must keep the masses happy.
Yes. I don't want to let anyone down. So, I mean, I know there was the one week I was really sick and I didn't have one up. And everybody thought I just fell in a hole. They're like, where are you? Where are you? And then I put up one. They're like, we missed you. We missed you. So, I mean,
you're habit forming.
I know. I love going, and you never know what you're going to find. And I mean, some days I bring home a load, and other times I'm like, I got out of bed for this. So, you know, you just never know. And if I can find something at a really good deal, I'm going to find a place to put it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yep.
You know, I
tie it in a bucket and hoist it to the roof.
I got a 19-year-old man, and he's, you know, I'm going to have some more space here before it's all over with. No, we're not pushing him out the door. No, but that's my editor, too. I can't get rid of him because I'm going to have to learn a whole lot of crap when he wants to move out.
You're going to have to talk nice about him or he's going to put you on hiatus.
I know. He's like, Mom, every time you talk about it, it's like you're trying to get rid of me. I'm like, no, I'm not. So, yeah. So, I guess that's the point. You know, if you have a decent space, you can have a lot of space. And if you do, try and keep it organized because that's, I don't know, it seems to me when you have a dedicated space, it's kind of easy to go down there and just kind of, just kind of throw it in there and I'll get to it later. And that's, you know, that's kind of a bad habit because then you say, oh, I got all this room, but you don't know where anything is. So it really doesn't, really doesn't help you out.
Nope.
So, yeah, keeping organized. It's a full-time job.
Never-ending battle.
Yeah, with personal stuff and with business stuff. And it's hard because I'm the kind of person that if I had a living room and I just had, you know, somewhere to sit and a TV and, you know, and maybe a picture or two, I'd be happy. I don't need a lot of crap. I don't need a lot of stuff. And that's like in total opposite of my business practices, because I have to have a decent amount of stuff, and I have to have a whole bunch of this or a whole bunch of that. And it's just, it's difficult at times, because I am a minimalist to some extent, you know. I mean, not in the truest strict of the word, but I am. So,
I know.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard, because I like to have things simple. If I buy something and I like it, I'm like, do I want to look at it every day? Do I want to dust it every week? Do I want to move it to sweep around it every week? And most of the time the answer is no.
Do I want to feed it every day? No.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh. I have a couple of fake trees in my house, and they're really nice ones. I got one off of Craigslist for free. But I look at that thing and it's dusty, and I groan, because I'm like, oh. I like looking at it, but it's more work.
Well, you wait till the weather breaks, and you take it out and hang it over the edge of your railing, and
hose it.
You spray it, let it sit there, and yeah, you hose it down. That's what I've done.
The one I have, it's in a really nice ceramic pot. It's like 7 feet tall. It's unless you have
electric lights in it, then I wouldn't suggest that.
No, I don't have that. That would just highlight the dirt at this point.
Yep.
Don't want to do that. So I remember what was it, a sign I had sold at one point. It said something about, you know, you don't have to dust, but just don't ride in it or something.
I knew that's where you're going when you said that. I remember seeing that. I remembered it. Yeah.
So,
well, mine that's on my buffet says housework makes you ugly. That's why it's so pretty.
I was just going to say that could go in two different directions here, but I'll take the high road tonight.
Oh, thanks.
I'm feeling generous.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So, I guess, is that all we have? I know it doesn't seem real in depth, but it's just one of those things that, and everybody does it different too.
Yeah.
You know?
Different ways. Just like inventory for eBay. Everybody's got a different way of doing it.
You know, and if I just did one or the other, it would be a lot easier. But since I do both, I mean, I would say they take up equal amount of space. Mm-hmm. I don't have a huge amount of things ready to be list, maybe 2 to 3 tubs at any one time. I try and keep up with it. So that's kind of nice. But the stuff I have in the basement is inventory that is already listed. And I have a logbook, so when I go down there, I can look around and find it and take it to my shipping room and get it ready to go out the door. So, yeah. Yeah, one or the other, it would be easier, but...
Yeah, line painted right down the center of the room?
No, I'm not quite that bad yet.
Don't cross the line.
Okay, so that's all for tonight. We hope you enjoyed our podcast this week. Please give this video podcast a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below, or...
Sounded Irish for a minute.
I'm trying. You can email me a question or a comment, jen@pudgypicker.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram under The Pudgy Picker. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the little bell. You'll get notifications of when I put up new videos.
Yes.
Woo! Woo-hoo. So...
You want a glass of water after that?
I need a drink. I mean a drink.
Oh.
Okay, folks. We will see you next time.
All right. Bye.